they stocked the Halo's bin with Rascals, which are sour.
Yeah, where did you get them? Because our store doesn't have them, they only have the Rascals anymore,
Yeah.
which are like super tart. and
Yes,
purple.
and it's hit and miss.
And that's why we're like Halos.
Yeah, I probably got those at Price up by me, 40
Okay.
Avenue, probably.
Yeah. To see you again.
But
See,
it
it's
could
good,
have
we're not been here for a while.
Might have
so.
been
Okay.
Oh, can I just apologize up front for, I forgot everybody's name.
Okay.
When I have a head injury, it's okay.
I just don't remember names.
I don't even try to remember. It's okay.
Right. I'm Annie.
I won't remember.
That's okay, well, that's some rap here. Alex, nice to meet you,
I
Alex.
might remember Annie because
All right, that's the A group. Okay.
Your name
Do that.
is
I remember you from last time, but I don't know your name. Omar?
It depends how you spell it. I've had it spelled with 3 letters before, depending what it like in Spanish. It's like A and I or A and Y.
But you're right, this is a
Yes. Little orphan Annie, Annie Oakley.
Anyone mind if I take a photo? Is that cool?
Go for it.
I got one.
Morning, Bill.
Good morning.
Hey. Hey, wait, what is it? Hi, Christine.
Judd?
Judd?
We weren't
Yeah, like
ready.
Winona?
Oh,
Oh, wow. I'm really old. Okay, no one remembers her. So stop that. Winona Judd and from Judd back in the day.
it's supposed to be just like a casual.
Have a deep discussion.
One. All right.
At work, it was like bring your daughter to work day, or bring your child to work day. This one coworker, her daughter is like 12, 11, right that age.
Yes.
Took a picture.
Do that.
I'm gonna see it. Take another one. I don't like it. I've got 4 of these. You know, maybe that's just what you look like.
Brutal truth. I like that.
Her mother, of course, thought it was hilarious. And she's like, "That's the one we're using." And I did that to another coworker for a similar event where I had to take pictures of. I think she just got a promotion or whatever. I'm like, I don't like that one. So maybe that's what you look like. When she insisted she was going to redo it, so I just taken a picture of 10 new staff members. She wanted to delete her picture, actually deleted them all.
What?
I just handed her the camera.
Yeah, exactly. You
Go
do.
retake them.
Yeah, I see that, but
Because apparently I don't get your flattering side. The meters are warm in here. Before the
Let's
camera
get
was
warmed
on.
up on the bike. I was running late, so I was like,
Listen, I've been here once. I stopped at Cartel and had
nice.
coffee.
I had ambitions to like leave at 9:15, get here at 9:45.
And I did too. And I was like sitting and not even dressed yet. Like, huh. I should probably like maybe hop in the shower and put clothes on. And,
I didn't even get the chance to shower. I'm showerless.
so and with my wallet, I don't have any cash on me. So I get the cartel. Said, yeah, give me a large strip. Do you charge for refills? Yeah, charge me for a refill. Because I'm not gonna have. I don't want to do a transaction for $1 or whatever. Yeah, go ahead and just charge me for a refill now.
Oh, that's good. Yeah.
That's
Well,
still
some
about-
places will be like, well, if it's less than $4 or whatever, then
Right.
do it.
And then just the fact that it's an extra transaction, just the time.
Yeah.
Just charge me for the refill now. I'm just glad, despite our proximity to one, there's nobody near the Starbucks cup. That was thinking, I have to go to Starbucks. No, Cartel's right there.
Yeah, it's better.
Because I'm on my treks, I can't really carry coffee. I've got a little pouch in my bag, but it splashes out. Where if I read the Schwinn, it's got a nice proper cup holder on it.
Yeah.
So I get down here, lock the bike, and walk to coffee somewhere real quick. Oh, Cartel's there. Are they open? Yes.
I love the container, or like the cup holder. And then I put like, usually it's my tumbler that I have.
Yeah, I've got a real nice one from Nomad. I should have thrown in my bag.
Yeah.
All right, are we on the record?
Yeah.
Ch-ch-ch-ch-ch on the record.
specifically you.
I don't know which one the needle on the record.
Well, I was gonna get my swearing in before it started.
Oh, I heard it was going to be YouTube.
Yep.
No camera or just audio?
No.
The presentation. Oh, like this?
Yeah,
thing?
That's
this is
camera.
like third or fourth meeting.
What
we've
is it
done
on
that.
both sides? It's projects over there.
It might have slides in the
Yeah.
side
Right.
or something.
It's got a little shared screen, I think, is what Dave does.
Especially when I ask you
Here,
about
get mine,
things.
Dave. Dave, use mine. I'll go get another one.
Oh, who graciously volunteered to take minutes today?
Oh, I can't.
No pressure, but yeah, who told for that? Agreed? Agreed. Thanks, John, I appreciate it.
All in favor? Okay, very good.
There's coffee, you guys, it's ready.
Oh, it's got
Couple or steam.
a refill.
Let me silence my phone so I'm not that guy. I get here and I get a voicemail. It's my dad. Usually that's an old crap, but you know.
Right.
What's going on?
Yeah.
I definitely don't. I don't know who I called, but sorry or something. Okay.
Knock it out.
Right. Yeah.
Bill, how's you guys doing?
Really, really well.
Yay!
Yeah.
I'm so glad to hear that.
Yeah.
That's great.
It's a lot of work still with, endless phone calls from every doctors and appointments and taking him to appointments. He still can't drive, so I got to take him to all his grocery shopping and errands. But he's really lucid. Upbeat, conversational. I mean, you can call him and just have a conversation on the phone. Where before it was just dead unit. Yeah. No. So that's good.
Okay, so that's
Good to hear, man.
Yeah. And physically, he's. Yeah.
Okay.
He started the physical therapy he's got is a joke. I mean, from day one, because he can get up and he can practically run, but they still have him do leg lifts and stuff. It's like that. And humor them. They come to the house to do it. They're being paid to do it. They'll write you off when you've got whatever.
Just go through the
Is
motions.
he closer to you now? I feel like
Yeah, he's 20. When he moved here, he's only 22nd Avenue in Indian School.
Oh.
So he's been pretty close.
Oh yeah.
Just go incognito on us. What are you looking at?
Like porn.
Oh, it's in the book, you know, is that in,
Right, and then your pop-up shows up with that email. Or,
Ready. Oh, my goodness.
with a mouthful of Tramlets. All right, are we here?
I'm here.
All in favor?
Are we on?
We're on.
All right, good morning, everybody.
Morning.
Thank you for coming on this little bit blustery, winter-esque day. We're gonna jump right into it. I think we'll do introductions, a couple new faces here that maybe everybody might not know. So I'll start. I'm Bill McComas, President, Phoenix Spokespeople, avid bike rider, bike commuter, and all those good things. I'm also with Rusty Spoke, so if you need bike repairs, want to learn how to do that stuff, catch me after the meeting. Always got to plug them. And from there on, we'll move on down.
Jed Sampson, bike commuter, disability advocate, and currently furloughed federal employee.
Sorry about that.
I'm Christina Sampson, I'm his wife. I'm also a bike commuter, sort of, I work from home, but I bike everywhere else. And extraordinary.
Also a bike blogger.
Yes.
Also, like what?
Blogger.
Cool, nice, nice. That's Suzanne Day, I work for Valley Metro, and they let me do the bike stuff, and it's super fun, and I am also a founding member of Phoenix.
I'm Laura Sands, I'm a board member at large, and I work very irregularly, so I just ride my bike where I feel like it, because I got nowhere to be.
I'm Yvette Duenas, and I'm a member at large, and I also work for Bike Share as an ambassador. I go around showing people how to use the bike share on their bike.
Sean Sweat, I'm the Omar Peters, I'm a member at large, board member.
I'm Annie Eldon. I'm a board member at large and a bike commuter.
Alex Acevedo. I live in the Witten District, which is the southeast corner of 7th Street in Osborne.
And I'm John Walker. I'm the treasurer, also bike commuter and bike advocate. And you, Dad. Thanks, Dad.
I'm Calvin Dickman. I'm a researcher at ASU,
I study bicycling and I bicycle, so I've got all the legitimacy.
Hello, good morning everyone. I'm Dave Tapley, Vice President, much the same as Bill. Also, forgive me for frantically doing.
You don't see it?
The beard. We both have beards.
That's where it ends.
Yes, and they're streaming everything live on YouTube, so including video and audio. Cheers. That's all of YouTube.
Hi, WeberNet.
All right.
All right, so we're going to jump right into Calvin's presentation, and
Okay.
that's all you have before.
So I have it pretty short and sweet. How much time?
How much time do you need?
I mean, I could go as long as you guys let me. I'll just jump into it, and you guys can just tell me
15
that.
is okay? 10, 15 minutes probably?
Yeah,
Good.
that sounds reasonable.
I'll try and synchronize the slides
Oh, awesome.
with the presentation.
So, as I said, my name is Calvin Dickman. I'm a postdoctoral researcher at Arizona State. I'm working with Dr. Tristan Nelson, who you'll see on the next slide. She's the creator of Bike Maps. And the idea behind Bike Maps is pretty straightforward. It's maps and bikes. As you all probably know, there's official crash data, there's bike counts and things like that, but they don't necessarily tell us a whole lot, and there might be things missing from the complete picture about bicycling that people like you and I can contribute, especially via maps. So the idea is pretty simple: combine maps and bikes, get people involved, and we can learn a lot more about bicycling. In particular, there's a lot we don't know about crashes. So next slide. This says it all. A lot of crashes are underreported. It may be because it's not with a vehicle, so it doesn't get reported via insurance or by the police. So it might happen on a trail, or it just might be a minor fender bender that nobody bothers to report. So as researchers and in the sort of public sphere as well, if we don't know what doesn't happen, we can't really act on that. So the idea behind bike maps is we can start to collect that data via sort of crowdsourced data gathering, and we can also gain a sort of more in-depth information about things like near misses that obviously are never going to be reported otherwise. So that's actually sort of a key component of the website, of the sort of the app and the website. So near misses where you have to swerve or avoid a car or something can actually tell us a lot, because it may be sort of a proxy or a stand-in for, if there's a bunch of near misses right here, there might be a crash in the near future if people weren't able to avoid it. And so we obviously have a vested interest in this as researchers, trying to understand why and where and sort of those sort of questions about bike crashes. But we're very, very open about sharing. We are happy to share data with you. We are actively working with local governments in the Phoenix area to help them with their bike planning. So again, the volunteer geographic information is sort of is another word for like crowdsourcing, getting people like you and I to go onto the bikemaps.org website and report things like near misses, crashes, and on the next page there's sort of you can skip by this one, but what you can do is report falls, collisions, near misses, and you can do it pretty much at any time, and with respect to almost any sort of collision. So what I thought I'd do really quickly would just be to demo the bike map. So I don't know if it's possible to do it live.
Just need a tab.
And you guys can feel free on your smartphones, if you have them. We have a smartphone app. If you're so inclined, you can follow along and you can report as I do this. So it's a little bit hard to find because you have to be very specific about how you write it, because there's other apps that use bike and maps in their typo. So you have to specifically type in bikemaps, no spaces.org. So that's the name of our app.
And it's in the App Store?
It's in the App Store, Bike Maps,
And this is Google.
one word, .org. It's on Android and iPhone, and hopefully it'll pop up. it should have our little logo right here. Should be pretty obvious once you get to it. So bikemaps.org, one word, no spaces.
Found it.
Awesome. So you can report there. The web app is a little bit easier to use, I would say, but you certainly can do it on your smartphone. So as you can see, there's been a lot of reporting across the US, but there's also been reporting in Reykjavik, Iceland. Some people have really gotten into it there. So there's a bunch of reports there. Yeah, so it's international. Anyone can pick it up and report an accident because it relies on OpenStreetMaps. So that's international.
Wait, look away, flat earthers.
Yeah, and there's some. Yeah. So I'm working with Dr. Tristan Nesson. She's originally from British Columbia, Victoria specifically. So as you can see, there's a ton of reporting right here. And then we're sort of just getting off the ground in the Phoenix area, and that's where we're hoping to start promoting it and get, if we don't get participation, we can't do a whole lot. So you can actually zoom in. Go ahead and zoom in on the Arizona. So yeah, there's Phoenix. So as you might not be surprising, a lot of the bike maps researchers who bike report, and we are all around ASU, so that's why there's a lot here. There's only 3 in Phoenix, 7 sort of a little further east from where we are. So there's clearly room for growth. And as I mentioned, you can report different types of thefts or collisions, crashes. And what you do is you click on that little place dropper icon. So you click that to add a new marker, and then you can place it wherever you want. So you probably obviously want to zoom in. Maybe you got in a crash at Phoenix Sky Harbor Airport. Yeah, you were on the tarmac.
We're on the active.
Yeah. So that's the idea. You place it. Just go ahead and place it anywhere. And you can submit a new report. So it can be a collision, near miss, hazard, or theft. And then we ask about details because the details matter. What was going on with you? Who were you? Who did you almost miss, or who did you crash into? And then obviously hazards and thefts. So that's the gist of it. Feel free to ask questions. That was sort of a quick introduction. Yeah.
Can you talk about the Strava data that you guys have in the background?
Yeah, so the Strava data is if you're familiar with geographic information systems, GIS, you can import sort of layers of information. So that's just one layer in the background. And it can be a helpful, obviously Strava is primarily, as most of you probably know, Strava is a sort of a fitness app. And we actually use Strava data quite a bit. And it's a useful proxy, because it's sort of big data, it's a useful proxy for where people are riding. Obviously,
a lot of members that use it every ride just to track their
It's
totals
mostly
too.
fitness rides, but some people do their commute rides too. So, it's going to probably miss a lot of the commute riding going on in Phoenix and Tempe, but it's a proxy. It's sort of it's a best guess.
I also noticed, this is interesting, that you can report bike infrastructure deficiencies or issues like bike lane ending and stuff like that, which is something that would be especially interesting for us.
Yeah, so I've only been here 4 months, so I don't know this area super well, but I did try to bike to the zoo, the Phoenix Zoo, from my house on Rio Salado up to the Phoenix Zoo, and the bike lane. Somebody had already reported it wasn't even me, but the bike lane disappears all of a sudden, and I'm biking with my son, so it's like, what's going on? So yeah, that can be really useful too. So one thing to note is the reporting. So for example, if you reported a hazard or something like that, it's not going to go to the city. There's no mechanism. We don't have an automated mechanism just because it'd be too challenging to do that. But it's something you can do. And then it wouldn't go to the city in real time, but we can report it, once we've packaged everything up and we're talking to the different cities. So yeah, any other?
Yeah, no, so are you primarily dealing with collisions, thefts, infrastructure issues, but are you looking also at commuter routes and better ways to get from A to B and that kind of thing? Or you?
So that's not the real purpose of this particular project. There's other sort of projects that we're working on related to that, but this is primarily focused on safety and thefts and things like that.
You mentioned using Strava data. How does that work, and how do they allow you to use data, and what limitations do you have with that?
It's a good question. So this layer, this GIS layer that's being displayed here, the Strava data, this is something that's publicly available. Anyone could go. It's called I think it's called their hot
Heat maps?
Heat maps, yeah, it's called their heat map. So anyone can go and look at that. And so we've just plastered that layer down on top of the network. But we've also, in addition to that, we have a relationship with Strava. So we actually have the 2016 volumes for Maricopa County. We have every single link of the street network. For every 5 minutes, we know how many Strava riders were on that little segment. And so we can try and learn things about what are seasonal changes, and we can try and answer other questions.
So a follow-up question with that is Strava. I know because I mountain bike somewhat, and I know with road cyclists is very popular for fitness type things. So I would imagine you're probably going to get more of a, like you were mentioning earlier, you're going to get more of a view of what fitness routes or more recreational cycling routes might be. I, for one, I have Strava. I only use it when I mountain bike because it's a pain to have to turn it on and off and all that.
Yeah.
But what I do have running in the background all the time is Google Maps, and that automatically picks up what you're doing. So then that way, it's an effective way for me, just for my own information, to track my riding.
Yeah.
Have you guys thought about contacting Google or other mapping organizations that maybe have more latent background tracking to get?
Oh yeah, Google knows everything about where we're going. That would be a very good idea. I think Trislan has broached that with Google, but we're sort of small fry in this world, so I don't think they're willing to part with that sort of data.
And probably proprietary, and they want to make money off it, et cetera.
Yeah. So with Strava, one of the big projects, talking about different projects we're doing in our lab, one of the things we're working on is trying to, it's big data, but it's biased data. So how can we remove that bias? So what we're doing is people like the folks at T-Bag who do their annual counts, we can use that data to try and say, okay, where's there a mismatch? There's clearly a lot of riders here, but there's not a lot in the Strava data set. How can we sort of, extrapolate from that? So that's another thing we're doing. So I guess the big takeaways that I'm hoping you guys, will bring home is that, we'd love you guys to report. If you guys are reporting right now, awesome. We are happy to work with you guys, share our data. We are working with municipalities, as I mentioned. If we could go back to my presentation real quick. So a couple slides beyond this. So this was my point earlier. Same scale in Victoria, BC. There's over 1,000 reports right now in sort of the Tempe, Phoenix area. There's only 75. So there's clearly potential for growth. And go ahead and keep going. As I mentioned, Reykjavik. This is Vancouver, Victoria. So this is, to show that we're international. And then next slide. So this is the sort of work we can do with official crash data, and especially once we start getting more bike maps reporting, we can start doing like near miss and crash or collision reports. So we can start to look at hotspots, like where are there lots of crashes happening. And Saanich is in the sort of Victoria region, BC region, and so they actually asked for this data. And as I'll show you on the next slide, this is with ADOT, official ADOT data, crash data. We just published this. We're working with the city of Tempe. These are the sort of top or worst, or whatever you want to call it, 12 crash locations in the city of Tempe. So I can confirm that's a bad one because that's on my commute. But your knowledge might confirm this, or maybe not. Maybe this is new information that the city can use. And we're currently working on one for Phoenix, other cities as well. So this is a useful, maybe, we'd like to have this spur more reporting, but it's also informative in and of itself. Let me just make sure I'm not missing anything. Yeah, and just to sort of wrap up, so next slide. So these are official insurance reports of crashes in the British Columbia area, around 100, 130 a year. Fast forward to 2014, so a year after that, Bike Maps got over 1,000 reports in a year of various types, so crashes, near misses, hazards, and thefts. So you really can get a lot more and a greater diversity of data. Yeah.
How on earth did you get insurance claim information?
They have there's an organization. It's ICBC. I'm not sure. I don't know the details.
It's Canada. So
It's in Canada, so there may be some sort of reporting requirement. I'm not sure. Yeah, they actually done a lot of research with insurance companies and insurance reports.
So what you're illustrating there is the insurance reports are much, much lower than
Right.
bike
So
maps.
it's underreporting, and that's sort of one of the key things that's behind Bike Maps is we want to get those reports out there.
And a lot of those things wouldn't have been an insurance report anyway, so there's no other way to capture it without this.
Right. Yeah.
And have you thought about contacting cities, or maybe you've already done it, to partner with them to track these incidents? Because I know City of Phoenix will have kind of the awkward, hey, here's a massive map over a table, why don't you draw physically what issues you have or what you'd like to see or what has happened, as opposed to this is a much more data-driven, real-time type of operation.
We'll get that periodic thing from MAG where you can do it on a map, but it closes
Right.
March 30th and then it's gone for,
Yeah.
it's not an ongoing thing.
Is it a participant? Is they're asking you to provide feedback? Is that their deal?
They've done that before, yeah, and it'll be
Okay.
like a website. It's always awkward and difficult to do, and maybe a few dozen people.
So is that MAG who?
I think MAG
pushes
did
that?
one recently where we,
Yeah, they'll do surveys and things like that to try to get information. But it's
That's good
not
to
an
know about.
ongoing
right,
real-time
it was,
operation.
Okay.
it
Yeah,
was
no,
a
that's-
project for a certain period of time, but
Okay.
this having an ongoing,
We'll have to find it.
And then, just the very last thing. So the data we get can tell us some interesting things that that might go contrary to what you might expect or perceive. So next slide. In the British Columbia, Victoria area, they actually did a study of multi-use trails and found that there's a lot more crashes happening on multi-use trails than you might expect. And so that was one student's master's thesis. They're trying to understand what was causing it. So this sort of data can go to a lot of different purposes. It can go to sort of exploratory analyses like this. It can go to cities. It can go to groups like this folks people. So yeah, we're really hopeful that this is something that you guys can get excited about. Maybe we can start talking to MAG because we really want to make this something useful for a lot of different groups. So thanks for your attention. If you guys have any other questions, I'll be here right now and afterwards. But thanks for having me.
Thank you.
I always get the acronym wrong, Suzanne, the
Yep.
ABPB.
APBP?
Yeah, did you work with them at all?
Not much.
APBP.
I've been to one of their meetings.
Pedestrian bicycle professionals.
They seem very small.
They are very small.
Yeah, the Arizona chapter's less than a year old or about a year old.
Yeah, yeah, they seem like very motivated.
But the couple
yeah.
of meetings I've been to have been nice because we've had the cities, the counties, the private sector, Valley Metro. I mean, there's a good
Yeah, it's diverse. for sure.
representation, groups like this.
Yeah.
Okay, you want to bring Alex up next?
Yeah. Did you want to quickly speak?
Yeah. I won't take up too much time, but kind of already introduced myself. It's Alex Acevedo, and I mentioned where I live because I wanted to bring up a rezoning application that came up in our neighborhood. We live on the east corner of 7th Street in Osborne, so if you're familiar with that area, you got the Taco Guild, the Buffalo Exchange, the Urban Bean, you have Gadzooks Caddy Corner to it. Well, QT has applied to rezone the southeast corner, where currently right now there's automotive, some residential. They're trying to tie those lots together and rezone it to commercial C2, which would allow for a gas station. So that kind of got the neighbors up in arms in regards to why. So
Say again, where they want to do that?
southeast corner,
Well, that's where Gadzooks is.
southwest corner.
Southwest corner.
So if you go down farther south, past the light.
Yeah, there's this old mechanic shop.
Right there, yeah. It's right there, Simon and Sons. That corner is where they're trying to apply for that rezoning.
And what lot are they trying to combine?
If you do like a more of an aerial shot, it's basically that lot where the automotive center is, and the lot just to the west of that parcel.
So much easier with a mouse.
Yeah, so they've had an open house. The applicant has met with the neighbors. We've kind of discussed our issues with it when it comes to pedestrian mobility, walkability. Also, it falls into the walkable urban code. So based off of that, we feel like this project just doesn't fit with what the city of Phoenix is trying to do with Reinvent Phoenix and the WU code. So we've reached out to city council, we reached out to the village committee for Encana, which I'm a member of, and we've kind of voiced our opinion as a neighborhood, and we've also reached out to the surrounding neighbors to see what they think, and we're all kind of on the same page when it comes to we don't need another gas station in this area. It doesn't fit the character design, and it doesn't fit a lot of what the city of Phoenix is trying to do when it comes to their Reinvent Phoenix, their WU code, and then its connection to the 3rd Street Promenade, which is potentially going to be right there on 3rd Street, connecting from Still Indian School Park all the way to downtown. So at this point, it was scheduled to go to the village committee for recommendation to the planning commission, but the applicant is now kind of pulled away, placed it on hold for whatever that means, and is deciding to wait and try to rethink things to see if they want to pursue this further. So I kind of wanted just to mention that. I've reached out to different advocacy groups when it comes to advocacy groups like Sean's in downtown. I've reached out to PSP because I feel like this affects us all. I was there 6 weeks ago at the Master Bicycle Plan, and Osborne is in such need of bikeable, pedestrian-friendly access from downtown all the way to as far as you can go into Scottsdale, that I feel like a gas station like this isn't going to enhance any of what we're trying to do there.
And do you know if the entrances would be on Osborne or they'd be on 7th Street if they...
That's a good question. They showed us a site plan, and I'm trying to remember where the access points would be. I'm not sure. I'm believing that they're going to be off of Osborne.
Right.
I'm not sure what they're going to do from 7th Street.
And if I were developing it, I would want it to be off of Osborne or maybe both, because 7th Street has the reversible hours, so it'd make it harder for a lot of people to get in there at certain times, taking a left.
You'd want the access on both of them.
Yeah,
I'm sure it's going to be on
Yeah.
both.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, I mean, for now, we've organized. We voice our opinion as one. We're continuing to reach out to the applicant, and we're probably going to start reaching out to the owner to see what their ideas are. Our thoughts are, okay, well, we know what we don't want. What do we want? Well, we want something that would fit the character of that intersection, something like multi-use development, like retail shops, something like that. Going from a C1 would probably be most beneficial, but we're not really going to go there yet. Our stance as a neighborhood is we don't want the rezoning at all.
And it would be rezoned from what, it's commercial now, right?
It's a mix of things. So for the zoning nerds in here, it's C1, RO, and R16 to C2.
So taking residential out to expand the commercial.
Yeah, basically they're rezoning this just for the sole purpose of putting in a gas station.
Right.
Because there's nothing else that they would want from the C2 other than the gas station. And we've kind of reached out to the applicant as well to say, well, there's plenty of other vacant sites just down the street on 7th Street and Thomas that are already set up for gas stations. So why are we going to
7th Street has
here?
a couple of gas stations that are already built recently too. There's a Shell up. Can't remember exactly how far north it is, but it's just where the hours lane starts.
Yeah.
There was a Shell station. They just shuttered up a couple of years ago.
Yeah.
And it's relatively new.
So that'd be fun. We'll have a couple of people up there.
there's stuff up there on 7.
I think we counted up to 13 gas stations within like a mile radius of us.
So that's a saturated marketplace anyway.
And there's an Atta Business gas station, I think, on 3rd Street in Thomas, or is it 7th Street though?
Third
I know
Valero.
3rd Street.
Yeah, I know there's one on 7th Street in Thomas as well.
And there's another one on the other
Yeah.
street,
Yeah.
which is still in business.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah, there used to be like a Valero with
Yeah.
Chester's Chicken.
Right,
out
that's the
there.
one.
Exactly. Yeah.
They didn't really want to answer any of our questions at the open house. So we're kind of just continue to push further. They have it on hold, they're stalling, I feel, so
Yeah.
we're just trying to keep the momentum going and be ready because either we're hoping they're just going to withdraw the application and move on, or maybe they're just stalling and trying to find a way to make this work and come back
It seems
to
like there'd be more
the village.
stations
But it's
north
going to
of
have to go through our village first, so we're definitely kind of keeping it on our radar, so we wanted to get the word out.
It's weird.
So they didn't do a PUD, they just did a straight up rezoning
Yeah.
request, right?
Yeah.
Oh,
Dave, you can.
So there was something similar to this in the Garfield neighborhood
That must be
at that
good.
Circle K on 7th Street in Roosevelt. We're kind of using that as a prehistory of what happened, and maybe we can learn from that in order to kind of fight this one, but we'll see.
What was it, 7th Street in Willetta or 3rd Street in Willetta? They just approved the apartment complex, like 300 and some plus units over the objection of the neighborhood. And so I was in that area, and I remember reading that.
What side of the street? On 7th Street, do you know?
Either 3rd and Willetta maybe, or
No, it was 7th Avenue.
Oh,
Oh,
7th
7th
Ave? Okay, I'm sorry.
I thought it was 7th Avenue, maybe 7th Street.
Okay.
But they had like over 1,000 comments opposed to it, but the city just approved it anyways.
Yeah.
Yeah, so,
they don't
I mean,
have
it's we're counting this as a win. You know, they decided to hold back for whatever reason, so we'll just stay organized and keep the word out and just be ready for what's to come.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I just checked, I don't know if you saw, it looks like Osborne is on the 5-year plan as well, along that.
Yeah, it's a bikeway already. It's supposed to be
It is,
become a better bikeway at some point.
Well, it's
so
not,
I think
it's not west of SR 51.
but it's still considered a bikeway. I mean, even though we got a bike lane later, like
Yeah.
I think there are signs that
40th
say.
Street.
There are
bike lane
places where there
couple
still
lane.
is.
Yeah.
good.
There's
We'll hang on to that,
It's a
yeah.
bikeway, so
Yeah, for sure.
gas station wouldn't help that.
Yeah.
5 years, okay, cool, thank you.
The planning commission doesn't know that, and they don't care. The city council doesn't know that, so you have to make that evident.
So wait, they don't know that it's a bikeway, or they don't know that it's that it's on the 5-year plan for the.
All they do is zone.
Oh, okay.
City council doesn't know anything. All they know is what the city staff knows.
Yes, of course.
About every street though, that's why I'm saying.
I see, thank you.
That's what I'm saying.
All right.
You can't expect them to know
That's specific.
any of this stuff.
Gotcha.
Because the 5-year bike plans of the streets department, this is going through the planning department, it's going through the planning commission, which is a politically appointed board. So you can't just assume any of that talking is happening, so you have to force that talking to happen.
That's a good point.
So that's what we're trying to do. We're trying to get the word out and trying to reach out to as many people and groups as possible, because I feel like, you know, these type of things have happened before, so we're hoping to learn from our past mistakes and hopefully try to fight for something like this, because in our neighborhood we don't have much to claim, but this intersection is so important to us because it fits with what we're trying to do in that neighborhood when it comes to character and design and pedestrian, bicycle mobility, all that. So we're definitely going to fight for it.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you, Alex.
Thank you.
You got it.
Awkward applause. All right, so Suzanne, any updates with membership?
We are up to 25 members, including 4 family members, so hooray. I'll take it.
Okay.
I did look, and it looks like most of those people joined in September and October when we rolled out that was the first time we had ever had paid memberships. I think we had one new one so far in January, and one in December, and one in November. So, yay, keep
Okay.
coming. I mean, at this point, I'm happy to have members, and sometime soon, I'm sure we'll do a membership push. More and more. That's the next.
Okay, John?
So financial update, finances are pretty stable. Our balance sheet is about the same. Big withdrawal was, I think, you purchased some lights for the
Staying Alive event.
Staying Alive event.
So,
yeah, and we're going to be spending some money on the home tours. We're going to take out some advertisements. $200 for the Coronado home tour, a half-page ad for the brochure. I think they make about 1,500 copies. We're also going to have our booth there, so just basically as a publicity thing, and what it's really helped for before is getting people on our email list. That's really expanded it, and then people really like to put their names on there and discuss the issues. And then we also have the Willow home tour, so the Coronado home tour is
remind me the date of that.
February 25th, it's a Saturday, and I guess I'll segue into the home tours. So that's February 25th.
That was an accident on the agenda, but a good one.
Yes. I think that's it for finances. Anything else? Everything's going real well.
We got, do we have to do our annual, is there a filing that's due now?
Filing isn't due until June, and I have that calendared, so that...
Is that IRS or Corporation Commission?
Corporation Commission. That does remind me, I removed Libby from our bank account and also as a board member, so she's been removed, so that's taken care of.
Have you updated with the new board members, or you do that when you do the filing?
Yeah, so we update, so you're going to become the president, and it's going to update with our yearly filing.
Okay.
There's really no way to do it otherwise.
Okay, that's fine.
But as far as the home tours, February 11th is Willow home tour, and Laura and I will be
February 11th?
February 11th. I believe it's a Saturday. Sunday, okay. And actually Coronado home tour might be a Sunday too, February 25th. But we'll have a booth there. I think you already purchased the, or did it cost anything to get a spot there?
$0.
Okay, that's great. For a Coronado home tour was $40, but both of them we're going to have advertisements. We've purchased them both.
That's the Willow one.
Yes, and then that's the Willow advertisement we'll have. It'll be a quarter page, and then the Coronado home tour is going to be similar, but it'll be a half page. So, and we'll set up shifts so people can volunteer to help. And I think usually we do 3 shifts, 2 hours, and we'll find if some of you could help out with that, that'd be great. And then that way someone can help out at the booth and also participate in the home tour and check it out if they want to.
And the Coronado is a Sunday.
Okay, 25th.
How do you want to handle that, John? Do you want, I can put something in the February newsletter for people to sign up, and how specifically do you want them to sign up? Do you want Sign Up Genius or?
Yeah, I've usually done Sign Up Genius, and I really would imagine it's only just going to be us board members that are probably going to get involved. So I don't know if we need I don't think we need to.
So text.
And some of your regular members wouldn't mind.
Yeah.
Giving
Okay.
some time to.
Yeah, I think we can
And we'll post it. And we'll maybe send an email.
reach out to
about-
our members and whatever, and hang out with a board member for a shift.
Right.
Exciting stuff.
So.
But I think that's an opportunity to really try to get more people engaged in what we do. If we open up and say, you want to come hang out in the booth with us?
Yeah, that's a good idea.
That's something I want to talk about later, but we have the outreach, getting more people involved. I think that might be one opportunity. We're going to be in the booth. You want to come hang out with us and see how we talk to people. Just something.
So yeah, that's those are the updates. So thank you guys.
Thanks, John.
Can I ask a couple of questions? Like,
Sure.
That's one.
Do we have a white tent? Like,
Yes.
do we have
Yeah,
a thing?
we've done this. We've done the Coronado home tour
Okay.
booth
Well, I
a couple
told
times.
this first, so I don't-
Yes. Yeah. So I have the tent. I can provide tables and chairs.
I have the tablecloth and a lot of the handouts.
Yeah, and we have some pamphlets, and we'll usually gather up some of our cards and then have a printout of a mailing list sign-up sheet, and basically just engage with the public. And so we'll coordinate about, I'll drop it off, and so we've done that for the home tour a couple times, the Coronado home tour a couple times.
Did we ever get more postcards ordered?
I don't think so. Somebody emailed me
Lisa.
this week looking for postcards. That's
Yeah.
usually a Lisa thing.
Yeah, we'll have to double check, because I think I looked at home, I've got about 10 left.
So
So I don't know if anybody else has a stash somewhere too.
You want to ask Lisa
Yeah.
to have some more?
She may have some, but it'll be,
Yeah, and I may have a small amount too. So,
but I'm almost out, because I've been using the supply for a couple different things lately.
And we have banners and different things too for the booths, so it
Any
makes it
chance
look.
we're gonna have t-shirts or socks for sale?
You know, Joe took that
That's a good job.
took that order. I need to follow up with him on that too. I actually had a conversation with Ruben from 11 the Monkey on Facebook about it, and we never followed up. But we'll have to look at that because they were going to make some for us. I think it was a couple meetings ago. We filled out what we wanted.
Right, and I think Joe had, so we'll have to hear from him.
Yeah, I'll check with him. He's out of town this weekend, but we'll check with him.
One more thing, I was wondering, if those of you who organize the sort of biking for fun around town might be interested in like having we're gonna take off from Willow Park next Sunday kind of advertisement, like we will have a social ride.
Yeah.
To advertise to the people who come to the Willow Home Tour, most of whom live in Willow or Cantal Home Common, and maybe see if we can get some people who are happy to bike around the neighborhood but are too scared to cross the big streets.
That's a good idea. We can do it similar to the Luminari ride. And yeah, I've got bike fun and that kind of thing later down the agenda, so perfect.
Good. And do we do parking at the Willow Home Tour?
Bike valet.
That's a good idea.
I think we went to LA.
Well, as part of the,
Well, not necessarily valet, but just in front of the various houses.
I think from my experiences, they'll just set that up as part of the home tour, and I think there's going to be various locations, so I don't know if we'd have the manpower to, and I think people just leave the bikes there, so I think the home tours have taken care of that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Check and make sure that they're on that list for that day.
I'm not sure Willow does. Willow, it's often just people lay their bikes on the ground and go to the house.
Okay, yeah, that might be the case.
I think that'd still be tough, I guess, unless you park your bike and walk a block, pick up your bike and move. There's,
Or at least.
yeah, where do you put them? I mean, where do you put the bike rack strategically? That
At the different houses, and usually there's like 10 or so houses.
that's true. Yeah, that's right. It's not every house. You're going. Yeah, never mind.
So, but I don't know if I mean, Suzanne, if you want to get involved to help them out with the bike racks.
I'll
might
reach
be-
out to them and see if they'd like to borrow bike racks, sure.
Okay.
Happy to.
Okay.
Yeah.
Anything else on the home tours? Okay,
That's it.
All right, and then we'll talk about that ride here in a bit. All right, this is all you, Dave.
Yeah, just a quick bit of housekeeping I should have said earlier. It's much clearer if you come down and sit by the mic. You can still kind of hear people. So if you think of it, if you're going to talk for more than 30 seconds, it might be worth sitting down. But I think it's mostly me, Bill.
To get
For the rest of the time. It was a bit late. So yeah, I, as part of the being frustrated at the city council and then saying they were going to be into bikes and then it going off to the developers and strange, weird designs coming back 10 years later for places like 3rd and 5th, which are already pretty good, exemplary for Phoenix standards bike lanes anyway. I thought it would be interesting to email peopleforbikes.org and be, because they have loads of like support information for non-profits. I'll just upload the website. This is them. I don't know if everyone's seen them. They're like a national. Are they international? I think they're national.
I think they're US based.
Yeah. But they have like the classic, you know, how to engage with your local politicians and things you can do, and they kind of help you guide how to get funding and all. There's loads of great resources. Of course, no one has any time for this, but there's loads of great resources. So I thought I'd just email in to their Help Me I'm a Bicycle advocacy email. And I said essentially, I'm Dave, we're trying to engage with our Phoenix Street Transportation Department, but we're having trouble getting any traction. Do you have any support? Like, do you offer anything that would help us with our limited manpower be more effective? And I got an amazing reply a couple of days ago from, I guess I didn't include his name in the email, someone at People for Bikes. Really long email saying, you know, it's broad and complicated without specifics. I can't really help you. And maybe it sounds like he's open to getting into, or they're open to getting into the minutiae. But one thing he called out was this Places for Bikes survey, which I'll now attempt to load. and I think it'd be really good to do. The timing apparently is just lucky. So this is something that People for Bikes do, where you can, and as far as I can gather, it's just anyone who takes the initiative can sign themselves on behalf of their city or our city up for it. Check I'm streaming properly. Yes. So you come down, and then, so it's crucially only open through Jan 19.
Yesterday.
Which is yesterday.
Oh no, we passed
That was yesterday.
yesterday.
Maybe we can sneak in. God, is it really the 19th already?
It's 20th now.
20th, yes.
I wonder if we can get in, because it looks,
Maybe that's
they have an
what I
application
said.
that's pretty, I mean, I'll just throw it, if we're okay with it, I would have done it yesterday if I remember this. Because that's all you do. And then you just sort, as far as I can tell, you just sign up to say, yes, I'll be a point of contact. And then they deploy their people to go and do the research. Yeah. I think they had an example. Oh, I hope we can get in. So they generate this, this might be the survey you fill in. There's one, I thought they had an example of the report. So they basically produce a report, and I assume the idea is you then take this report over to your local friendly politician and say, this is why we don't get Amazon, and our ridership is so stupid low, and our air quality is appalling, and everyone's unfit. You know. Is this a bicycle network? No. Oh, here we go. Yeah, so they do this. Oh, no, I took too far. Or is this another web app? Yeah, so I think the punchline is you end up with one of these for your city.
Right.
So Gulp, good at finding things, not so good at knowing what date it is. But I will send that in today and let you know how it goes.
You may also want to follow up with the person who contacted you and say, hey, our meeting was the next day. So
That's a good
sorry.
idea.
Yeah.
You know, and maybe they can get the special exemption waiver.
Yes,
for
as I remember, Bill, we have to put it through our board process, and that's why we couldn't have got it in because the board has a process.
That's absolutely correct.
Yeah. Yeah.
Agreed.
Aye.
Okay, proposed.
Oh, yeah, we're not on the board, never mind.
We're not even members. We're the peanut gallery.
Okay.
Yeah.
And that leads into the item I forgot to put on the agenda. That's one of the most pressing things going on with us right now. 3rd and 5th Avenue. So I'm going to squeeze this in real quick. We're meeting with, they don't like when I call them STD, Street Transportation Department and the developer Aztec on Wednesday at the, still to be TBD, but probably City Hall,
What time?
5:30.
Is that the 24th?
I think so, it's Wednesday. To go over the latest design, and from what I'm hearing, they're now flip-flopping on what's on the cycle track. Now they're wanting it Roosevelt to McDowell. They originally were going to say Van Buren to Roosevelt. Vice Mayor Pastor, in her motion in the council, was it a subcommittee meeting, specifically said all the way to McDowell from Van Buren. I had that meeting, I think that was November of 2016, when that was her on the record. I met with her office that following February, so almost a year ago, to reiterate, yes, we want the cycle track to go the entire route with the intention of it eventually going through Willow and further to the canal. What we're hearing now is that they're looking at still not doing that whole route like they're supposed to, and now suddenly doing it north of Roosevelt to McDowell, or before. So anyway, I'm going to have to make sure we bring all the records from that meeting, the Vice Mayor Pastor's motion that included the Van Buren to McDowell and all that stuff to the meeting, and we're really just going to have to stick to our guns and say, this is what you said you're going to do, this is what we want.
So the plan's to make it a two-way street?
I'm not even sure anymore. It's changed so many times.
My understanding is they want 35 to.
Yeah, I think so.
If you've got two-way cars next to two-way bikes,
Right.
you have death.
Well, you have a barrier.
Right, but,
We have death at the intersections where there's turning motions
Yeah.
with people going very different speeds across various, that's.
I'd rather
Right.
stay one way myself.
right, that's, cycle track and one-way streets is what we said we wanted, and what,
Two-way street
vice,
and it is split by lane.
right. So we're gonna see what they propose this time on Wednesday.
You will be able to go the 24th?
Yeah, I'll be there. And,
And would it be useful to put a copy of our letter anyplace so that interested parties can echo our sentiments? Or is this even a situation where there's somebody they can say? I mean, I know this is an ongoing issue for months and months.
yeah, years.
Yeah, right. Would that be useful at all, or should we just keep quiet until after you guys meet on Wednesday and see what to
That's
do?
kind of a good
from there?
question.
One thing
You
I
mean
heard
re-
from Sean
I
is
don't know
that
what she
if
means.
your supporters, if you tell your supporters, here's what we want, and give something very simple. I always remember a couple of years ago, the budget hearings. You gave us a dollar amount. You said, we want the city to spend X dollars per capita on bikes or whatever. If you just give people some simple, we want this, this, and this. Then send
Yeah, we definitely need more people to speak up, but do it right. Yeah, I agree. If you're just on two-way traffic, then two-way cycle traffic is not the answer. So that's just something we're going to
So to be clear, our position is we prefer a two-way right track over almost on this, on one-way street.
All the way from Vancouver, not to Dallas.
Well, no, the cycle, keep the one-way streets where they are, the cycle track.
Because it's a one-way street all the way up.
Right, I think the north of that, we probably wouldn't put the cycle track there. Willow and South Cal. Well, it's probably more away. And to the cycle track. Or that we can't get to the streets, when we can, we think one-way streets. Cycle track. There is a conflict. If it's two-way streets, like cycle track. Then we want to go back to the floor. Take the lane traffic out, and protect the cycle. It was when you're in Roosevelt, now here they're saying Roosevelt moved out instead, where the vice mayors fit within our desire, assuming we keep one-way streets, would be Van Buren and McDowell, with the intention of it later going through Willow, and Willow seems to support that. But they keep switching the one-ways to the one-ways, part of it, and then there was one time where it started at Thomas, he had to cross twice to stay in there.
I mean, for me, I'm going to go to the meeting, but I struggle so much to have any predictions because I'm not an engineer. Well, I mean, I'm an engineer, but not that kind of engineer. But I guess I'm enough of an engineer to know it's crazy making and very troubling when you have protracted public input sessions and then disappear for 12 months and during that time change plans 3 times and end up with something that bears no resemblance. And I don't know if this meeting, I don't think it's an appropriate place to bring it up. Given our limited person power, volunteer time, I start to wonder if we just need to move, if it's better to just hammer home the total inconsistency of the city council not being able to manage their developers. Like, I'm happy that people are professionals, and I, like I said, I think 30 labs fine, so I always wonder why it's been 3 years that we're trying to figure this out. I think the genesis was they want to make it two-way, right? And no one seems to have to decide if that's appropriate. And so every time that changes, all the technical plans, including light plan, everything.
And I think there was a desire to have this marquee cycle track,
Yeah.
whether it fit or not.
On for that.
So, yeah,
And that's my concern is that kind of fit in the bike track, you know, and it doesn't make sense going northbound. Yeah. So just there's a lot of confusion. And it's just frustrating because whenever we do provide input, I like the hope, but maybe I don't know if this is getting into pointing too many punches, but I do find it very troubling how, and I'd love to actually pull the data on the amount of cities self-biking, and they call out the, what is it, half bidirectional mile of protected bike lane now. And then when I pull the 5-year plan, that's 0.5% of the planned bike lane for Buffalo. 0.5%. So when they're going to then be like, oh look, we've got this amazing cycle track, it represents maybe 1% of the
oh, so we doubled it.
Yeah, exactly. And then to say, well, the other 95% probably is going to be a strip of paint. So I feel like that would be a better place to do it. You can't have both. You can't say, look, we've got 1,000 miles of bike lanes, just look at this protected cycle track we put in here because you want it.
Free.
Maybe we just need to have that, like, let's be real, this is what you're doing, this is just you want to tick the box, you have a cycle track, and you don't care if it's something.
As an outsider, have you guys ever done sort of like practical urbanism approaches? I don't know if that's a term, but like some people put like, you know, plungers or whatever, or like super cheap, like flashy, maybe gets in the news, maybe pushing city council to do something differently. I don't know, just throwing it out there.
We have, really a couple of bike markers.
Cool. I was like, oh yeah, president.
Yeah.
In no way will be any.
Exactly, right, yeah. Neither would I. There's a mic out there.
Okay, so let's be mindful that several of you should have gotten a little bit of invite to that meeting. And that would be, if you want to go there, that's going to be Wednesday, 5:30. Probably.
It's a quick follow-up, but I'll go ahead and use my ear to try to pull out all the emails, all the information, discussing what you get back, and then how the letters are.
I think I might have to say first, it might be the PSP thing, the actual minutes from that November, December 2016 meeting where the motion was made, specifically saying all of the jobs, so we should have all that somewhere.
Yeah, either the shared drive or emails, definitely sent a couple of letters, so, okay, so let's see
We got, yeah, the project website was last updated November 2016. And this is where they announced that they were going for MA3, which was keep one way, and then north of Roosevelt, a one-way southbound cycle track. So that's changed, correct?
Okay, moving forward.
Yeah. Changing gears.
But that's a good idea, we should actually hopefully other some kind of statement on that and send it out.
So I know at the meeting we had across the board, we shared this, I think we were there, but shared this point, the city that basically was cut off. I think I talked to neighbors and they basically said, well, we appreciate it, but this is the time to let us know that information, so we know that that's your position. So we definitely let them know that we're disappointed with the lack of progress so far.
I will say, I wish I had my voice recording. It was an amazing exchange with, I forget her name, one of the girls who's taking the project lead. I think she's heading out now. But it was amazing. I said, yeah, she's not, okay.
that's the first she said. Yeah, we've got something 3-4 years ago. Yeah.
And I think it's consistent with people's like email where first email to that saying like it's probably they don't know no care, you know, like that's.
And I think that email response says something too about connecting anywhere with project managers or what they do. Usually that's when stuff happens. So that may be a much better thing to talk about. Okay. We get a whole meeting on it. Too long. I don't remember the arguments, but it makes sense. Remember we talked about doing lots of subcommittees. And I think as a result, we're not getting things done like we used to get done. So I'm going to bring back the thought of doing subcommittees again. For example, West Florida, part of this is my goal. I was going to take a big chunk of that and haven't done it yet. But I think when 3 or 4 of us go off and we meet for coffee or drink after work and come up with a plan to do these things, we get more done. I think, I was going to tackle some of the places I regularly with the breweries and places that we sold bike racks to, but we didn't involve bikes a lot of this. I know some others talk about some of the coffee shops or places where they all. I think if we, get 3 or 4 of us and then meet separately about this, dedicate an hour talking about it, set some goals, set some deadlines, and I think we'll get through it. So I know I still want to continue with it. My intention was to do that flossing before we go to Denison the first time this weekend, and Myers and emailed off, and I got too busy with this work. But like I said, I did that with the meeting. But that was a metaphor. Good song, guys. That was a metaphor. So I suppose that I know Sharon is involved, and anybody else that wants to, let's do a subcommittee again like that, like we did before. And the same with bike fun or events. We haven't done an event now in months outside of Second Saturday. That's because we're not meeting, we're not talking about enough new ideas for events. So, Laura, that was perfect. We should do a bike ride as part of the home tour. So, in the next couple of weeks, actually, that's coming up quick. Maybe this week. But we might really do 20.
I understand that like you can't do everything and your focus is primarily downtown, but like for example, we live in Phoenix, it is a huge bicycle area. And we're basically 56 to 44, that corridor there. Right, yeah, you got also got that area in Prospect Canal Park. And some of the advocacy we're trying to do is after 2 years of trying, I finally have a meeting with South CCO about getting sidewalks in our neighborhood. And we have the Prospect Canal Park, but getting there is very treacherous. And we also live in one of the last very affordable, accessible, non-Section 8 housing areas in the city. So there's quite a few disabled people who live in our neighborhood, and a lot of them use bicycles or even just wheelchairs or handbikes or anything across the way. Anyway, sorry. My point though, one, we would just like to see more even after these events, and 2, perhaps, I understand why your focus is downtown, but maybe in like different areas. Like I said, we do have also at Prospect Canal Park. There's Pontville Park, which is too far either. But like, it's like everything, it feels like everything is in the morning and down.
Yeah, we definitely could find some, we might write those, so
You all bring the help with it. I will, but it will not be a morning ride.
honestly, it was the second Saturday ride became a morning ride because everything else we were doing in the evening, and we never had any morning rides. So, but the fact that that's been like the only thing we've done outside of 2 hours, that's the only thing we've done the last couple months. So normally, most of our events are actually in the evening rides, but we just haven't done anything here lately. So,
I think it's your lucky day.
yeah, no, that's. Yeah, I think definitely open to the open.
So Christina, was that you volunteered to join the bike club? I hope.
And that's a coming to it. of covers the vice president. So those who just want to get involved in vice president, speak up and let me know somehow. We'll plan out an after work or Saturday morning or whatever meeting, and we'll try to come up with a plan and assign tasks and make some deadlines. And actually, I think the problem we have is we all speak up that we're going to do things, but we don't set these deadlines or whatever. That's kind of what something else I want to lead into. Perfect example when was the ad Coronado. Yes, we should do that. And that's kind of where it stopped. And this is where I, as the president and our leadership, I need to do a better job and say, okay, we decided we're going to do this. Assign somebody else volunteer and actually set a deadline and say, okay, John, we need to pick that ad by state. You want to write it down for yourself and get somebody to write it down for you. And just do a better job of when we say we're going to do something, make somebody accountable for it, set a deadline, follow up, and I need to do a better job of leading that effort too. So I think that's something we need to do a better job of. We all say, yes, we're going to do this thing, and then it just evaporates and it's an evening, it doesn't happen. So the white water is watered up again. We probably almost missed the deadline on the final. But yeah, we did this for this one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, we're good with the ad, the wholesale purchase, and I contacted, so we've done that, but I think.
It's like it almost just evaporated, it didn't happen because somebody wanted to do it, and then it. But there's been other things, we say, yeah, we want to do this thing, and we don't set a deadline, we don't assign a task, we don't make somebody, one person accountable for it, and then it evaporates and doesn't happen, so. All of us, but particularly me, need to do kind of a better job of at least making sure those boxes are checked in. So maybe these two people are going to take this on more and do it by this time.
I think what's helped somewhat for me is the Slack now, because we're using, so I know Bill, Dave, and I are Noah's in there. Is anyone else in there?
Everybody's got it.
But that really helps, because that helps us communicate, and for like finance is great for me to keep track of things, and it's really kind of good. You can send a message and tag the person. So if you're not using it, I would definitely get on the app.
I think they will do their own
Yeah, I'm probably. Yeah.
Yes, I wanted to say something that helps too is just throwing your cap over the fence, as they say. Scheduling your event, put it out there. My friend, how long did we waffle on the stand live ride? You and I did for years. But once you put something out there and say, hey, it's happening this day, this time, everybody knows it. Then, yeah, so.
Then that's it. And that was actually, we needed another one, so we got a lot of products. Okay, and then staying alive, and then we did give us a lot of
Lights.
lights. So we're not I go with the didn't be a downtown program, we didn't have that ride. And they went out Christmas night, that was a great word money night ride anyway. We were looking about lights and like being and stuff like that.
Oh, wow. I mean, that type of light is a regular, it's not strictly, it's not PSP, put on, but it's for it's a ride that occurs at night. So, it is.
I think we're all remember that.
I think so, yeah, I think they're up to that.
I think I have a.
Yeah, and let's make sure we put bike maps in the newsletter. I think we need to share the thought out of that. That's a great idea. Okay, so some events coming up. Wednesdays are right on the Apple. It's unfortunately a workday morning, so it's going to be hard for most of us to go. I went last year and there was 150 some people that said on Facebook they're going to be there, and we had about 12. That is what Save Life that organizes this one. The first name out me and last year we did meet at Tempe Town Lake Road to the Capitol via a little bit bigger, so they're asking for more help. So I've led all but 2 of them. But we do need, anybody else, if they have a corner ride, you see help with shepherding, marshaling people, blockers, that kind of stuff. So people that are, like the bus that are on my roof right there, one mile that way, we definitely need some, people that are, got experience helping move roof rides through. That's the EPI, ESP rating. This one, we always try to finish the Spartan and go through Garfield, Coronado, Willow, back down Third, and then end up at Crescent Ball and do something next week. Anybody's available for that? Just keep looking over time to do it. Say I'm going to be a walker. Yes.
Backing up to that night on the Capitol, since it is this Wednesday, if anybody is moved to go, if you want to detail, there's a link in our meeting stuff.
Okay. I think the event should be on our page too. Yes, I think so. So then I think we'll probably share everything. The Evans Churchill fire registration, they canceled 2 months in a row. Is that, does anybody know, is that scheduled every month? Right. Well, then they have a new phrase that since we're on the record. They need the police department, it's canceled 2 months in a row. Is that scheduled every month, or do you have any? Well, on that, because we were, helping to move with Evans Churchill staff. I went last month, and they canceled the last minute. We still had some presence there and hang up cards and stuff like that. So, you guys don't believe anyway whether they actually walk the registration or not.
Well, that was your advice.
Yes.
Because they have a link on their website, so otherwise you want to do that for education wise. But parents are fine, but the organization that is no longer active.
It still might be the TV system, but yeah, they should have it good.
So, and I called the police department, and we were on a ride. Hey, my life, they were like, no, we didn't do that. Okay.
I've had direct contact with the sergeant when I watched it and figure out what's going on. Yeah.
And they can get that out to the community action officer.
Yeah.
Call them.
Yeah. I'll give sergeant a little, most of them are for this event, with any updates about last month's events. Was it was later this year, I remember. I think so. April. Yeah, 'cause it's not the weekend here. And that what happens later. Right.
So yeah.
Civic Space Park, and ride across that kind of bicycle boulevard on Roseville. It's probably 4.5 miles to the brewery, Fansfield Brewery, right? That's where we're brewing. The DJ and dancing and prizes, Annie does a great job getting prizes. Trucks, beer,
For the day, that's one thing I would say, for the day 7 months ago. The hardest part of setting that up was streaming lights. And I've been asking them for 2 years, do I hang lights in the brewery for events like ours? They have lights in the brewery now, so. Yeah, so the next roll wire, the exact same format we've been doing later, so that was the hardest part of setting up and turning down, and now that's done, so. We're all in operation, put up our booth. Just made our job so much easier.
Yay.
And we don't have all those broken light bulbs.
April
and-
21st. April 21st. That one is not a free event. That's what it's usually
About
about.
$15, $20?
15. I want to say it was 20 a couple and 12 a person. I believe.
Something like that, yeah.
And there are member discounts and early bird discounts. So if you do day up, I want to say it was like $30 day up because we need to be able to plan.
Yeah.
So, but it's super fun, and I hope you'll come.
And then second Saturday, we're gonna do the Pedal the Arts ride again.
Something to think of, I think.
Yes.
And I'm trying to remember what else we've got.
So I think we should do 20s.
Well, we're gonna have to start, yeah, it's time to, again, the bike fund committee, get together and start.
Yes.
Start planning these things. So,
Yes. Oh, and please, on Tuesday, April 10th, I threw our hat over the fence and I scheduled us for an upcycled craft night at Rusty Spoke. The goal is to increase awareness within the general public of Rusty Spoke and the kind of work that they do. And just get people over there and get people meeting each other. So maybe a year and a half ago, I think Karina did a thing at Rusty Spoke where we took chain rings, like old broken ones, and you put it in a pan, and you know pony beads that kids make those friendship bracelets out of, little colored plastic beads? So you put those in the openings of the chain ring, and you set the thing over a flame, a propane flame, and it melts. And it makes a little sun catcher for your window. That's fantastic. Using resources wisely. So looking for something like that, and looking for anybody who might like to run that event. I can, but Valley Metro, well, we like it if it comes from the public, and some people know I'm not exactly public. So if anybody wants to help with that, love to. And we'll.
So is that like we make art there, we're selling art?
Make art there. People can come.
Make it for yourself.
If we need to charge $5 or $10 for materials, that's fine with me.
Yeah, I think we charge.
Whoever organizes the event, that's up to them.
Yeah, it was $5 or $10 when Karina did it.
Yeah. And Bill, you were talking about limiting it to like 10 or 12.
Yeah, I think we're
going
limited.
Small inside.
And whoever's leading it, there's only so much direction, I guess. I think we limited 10 or 12 people last time.
See,
We
I
only
would
had 7 or 8,
have
so
us
they
be able
matter.
to do 15 to 30 if we can make good use of the space. Maybe have one station for one craft inside, another station for a different craft outside, and so that's all to be planned. But it's on the calendar.
What's the date?
It's Tuesday, April 10th, 6 to 8 p.m. at Rusty Spoke.
And it's a real casual thing. I mean, we had a BYOB and we're gonna have a beer while you're doing
you
it.
can let
and,
people bring
we
snacks.
brought snacks and.
Yep. So that'll be fun.
Sometimes I didn't think to put on the agenda, but there's a similar thing. Did you have other things you liked?
Yes, that was
Do
the
you know
last
if
thing.
Joe wants to do another bike
Don't know.
bazaar? He talked about it for a little while, but I didn't hear him come back. Okay.
It's not on the calendar.
Okay. Oh, it's a calendar that's all set? Yeah. Oh, okay.
Rusty Spoke website?
Okay.
I was
So
just
just
telling you
needs
how
to
nice it
have
looks.
Yeah, it looks really
bike
good.
calendar.
Wait, I'm gonna do it for us and. What she's doing now.
Oh, yeah.
Busy. I speak to her occasionally.
Well, Dave, looking that up, another thing we're doing in conjunction with Phoenix Down Tempo is a quarterly movie night at Film Bar. So it's typically the last Monday in January, April, July, and October, I think, every 3 months. One night we did it on a Thursday night with the WTF ride, but typically it's the last Monday of the month in those quarters. And so with the January coming up, I forgot the name of the movie now. And I picked it.
Oh, Rising from the Ashes.
Rising from the Ashes, a documentary about the Italian Tour de France.
What's the date
riders.
for that again?
Pardon me?
What's the date?
I think it's the 29th, whatever that last Monday is. So that's coming up. So the down-tempo ride normally rolls about 7:30. We'll do a short ride, and I think the film is scheduled for 8:30. PSP gets $1 from each ticket sold.
It seems to be pretty, I haven't gone myself, but it seems to be a pretty popular
It
event.
usually sells out, or there's less than 10 tickets left.
Oh, no.
It's been real successful. I think we've done, prior to it being a scheduled quarterly event, we did it 2 or 3 times before that too, and almost always sell out or get down to the last couple of tickets. So what was that one you had, Dave?
We got an email from James saying, "Hi Phoenix Works people, my name is James Poole and I work with ASU's Modern Sustainability Solution Initiatives. And we are hosting the City Lights movie night in downtown Phoenix, which I've just looked up. It is, I guess, this slightly scarce page, but so Feb 9. Has anyone been to one of these before?
Is that the one we went to? Were you remember we saw a screening of something in the park? I remember you and John saw it.
Raising Arizona.
Raising Arizona, yeah. Was that the same event?
Yeah, this one is.
This one we saw it though at Civic Space Park.
Yeah, I guess this is right down there.
Right.
So he says, I would like to offer your organization a tabling opportunity to promote yourselves as a social group. The event is Feb 9th. Well,
Demented and sad social.
would like to find a connection between your group and social connectivity to help you incorporate into the event. Let me know if this is something you'd be interested in so we can move forward with planning. And in my position as vice president, I'm going to delegate that to somebody else.
I think this would be an opportunity not only for whatever fancy speak you used for having a table.
Tabling.
Tabling.
I've never heard that.
Very fancy.
But this could be a bike valet opportunity too.
Oh yeah. I wonder. Well, yeah.
Because there was only a couple of racks down there.
What day is that, February what?
9th.
9th, thank you.
That's a Friday, right? Yeah.
Did they say what movie it's going to be?
Yes, I think it did, but I forget what it was.
Fine. We watched the feature film. That's funny. They refer to it as Patriots Pub.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's what it was before
It's
they.
still officially a park, right over there where the fountains are.
Yeah, well, I can
Yeah.
tell. Yeah.
It's
There's
officially a
some
park.
moss around the. Yes.
Yes.
Check their Facebook.
literally
Their
right
website.
there.
I don't think it's officially a park. Okay. Someone can arrange that.
Oh, there we go.
Wait, 28th? That's not. I guess they didn't put it out yet.
Yeah.
February 19th, that's Monday?
February 9th.
Oh, 9th, sorry. That is a Friday.
Yeah, must not have. We're still working on that rights for it.
Well, we have a tablecloth, and boy, have I got a bunch of business cards. But I'm not going to commit to being there. But I don't know if anyone else wants to.
I can be there for that.
Yeah.
Well, let me look at my calendar real quick, but Friday night is usually don't have anything calendared because it's usually for something like that. Nope. Yeah, I'm good. Yeah, I wouldn't mind. I can get a couple others, but yeah, I definitely would commit to sitting at a table and.
If you want to use the canopy, let me know. We'll
Yeah.
change.
Considering it's a nighttime event,
Oh, okay. Unless it's going to rain.
yeah, this is one less thing to carry,
That's true.
especially if I'm trying to do it on the bike.
Yeah. Okay. Next.
I think pretty much everybody here kind of knows this, so I'll kind of, for, do we know how many people are watching?
will know.
If any? But kind of our usual stuff, yeah, how to get involved, sign up for our newsletter is probably our number one thing, and follow us on Facebook. Come to the events. PD is generally relatively responsive. If you actively call about cars parked in the bike lane, they'll drive by them all day and never ticket them, but if somebody calls, we've heard some good stories where people have gotten results. Come to meetings. Something I've added is find something you want to do, and you guys have a perfect example. You want some east side rides, so speak that up. Let us know, especially if you're willing to help with it. I know we push real hard for membership, and Dave and I had this conversation a couple days ago. I think sometimes we need to we can't see the forest for the trees because we're so deep into bicycle advocacy and commuting and all this stuff. We see the value in it and getting people involved and trying to get help. Remember back before you did any of this stuff, if somebody said you want to be a bicycle advocate, give us $25. What's that going to do? I think going a little more grassroots, just getting people to come to events and get involved, and then, hey, by the way, if you want to be a member, but not getting people to get involved, not necessarily getting members to come do things. Does that make sense? And then hopefully they'll come and see some things that we're doing, and maybe some things they maybe make a little bit of difference, and maybe that's how we grow more organically than just please join, here's some stickers. I don't know what you guys think, but it's something to think about. If we can really reach out more, say, like, again, we're doing this right on the east side. Who wants to help with it? Come join us and be a part of it. And then, if like we do with Rusty Spoke, somebody wants to volunteer with Rusty Spoke, we just say, show up 3 shifts, and if you like it, we'll put you in the text group, and then you still like it, then it will depend on you to show up for a shift. But just come and see if there's something you want to do before we really pound the membership side of it. So, just.
I can just add on. Yeah, the thing that really struck me is a few people said either they couldn't afford membership or they didn't see the value. But I think the subtext was, I feel like maybe I guess politicians are politicians because they're good at being politicians, and that means convincing people to vote for them and believe in them. And I wonder if we're kind of shooting ourselves in the foot by saying, the city on the one hand is saying, look, we're totally committed to bikes, and they're very good at doing that. That's why they're in office. And we're saying, pay us money and we'll help the bike agenda, and then people give us money. And I wonder how many of the thousands of people on Facebook don't realize that it's a few of us sat down with the developer who doesn't care. You know,
Yeah.
like their perception is, the city's got this, and I'm paying Phoenix spokespeople. They've got it. They've got my back. Everything's good. Where in reality, it's like it's a handful of us going to meetings and saying, "What's going on?"
Yeah, we need just more voices.
Yeah, specifically getting people to realize that they can make a huge difference.
That's why you have to make sure people know that there is a battle being fought. Right? If the battle's on behind closed doors and it's a rosy face on social media, they don't understand that there's a war back there.
Speaking of social media, is anyone here are you guys on are you on nextdoor.com?
I am.
Yeah, because I found that to be far more useful. Like I said, we're trying to we have the Prospect Canal Park, but we're an island. There's no sidewalks. It's treacherous to get to the accessibility, and I've just found that to be far more effective in terms of getting people to show up than Facebook. So that's just another avenue to consider.
I'm not sure that we would. Yeah, I'm on next door too for my neighborhood. I'm not sure how we would.
Well, what I'm saying is, if you
excuse
want
me.
people to show up to a meeting and advocate for a certain area of town, find someone who lives on there and is registered on
Okay,
Nextdoor
okay.
and have them post.
Well,
Because you do have to be on in that neighborhood.
Right.
I think the first time we kind of came upon Nextdoor as an organization was when there was discussions about converting Missouri and putting bike lanes. There was a huge backlash against it from people on Nextdoor saying, how can you take our car lanes away? And there were hundreds of comments, and interspersed were a couple of pro-bike comments. And the city took note and basically was like, oh, we're not going to touch Missouri. Sorry, guys. See you later.
Last time I saved
They canceled the
So I wasn't on Nextdoor, and then I joined. I was like, ooh, I better.
But
just
you
to
can,
keep
I
up
mean,
with-
the way to get around that too is to be, well, I don't know if you can really do it, but if you use neutral language, and if you don't necessarily so much advocate as inform, if you merely just say, hey guys, friendly reminder, there's a meeting at this, at this time and this place, to discuss bike lanes over here. And also keep in mind, as far as the backlash from starting, I can see what you're saying there. I mean, that, that's gonna happen. But your goal is to get people to show up at the meeting. So if 40 people, I mean, the city will take note if 40 people on Nextdoor. I'm not going to deny that, but they're also going to have to take note if you get 7 people to show up at the meeting as opposed to 2.
Yeah, and I think
And
my
if you
point
lean
is,
more, if you use neutral language and just lean more towards information as opposed to advocacy, you generally will get a higher response rate.
oh yeah, no, this was
Sorry, that's kinda what I do for
no, this
everything.
was not us saying hey, what a great plan. Someone posted about it, and everyone commented
it was actually the city. So the city's
The
on
city.
there as an official
Okay.
thing.
Yeah, the city is on there.
But my point is, it's a very powerful tool because there's a lot of people that were like, wow, this is terrible. There were a few people that were like, wow, this is okay. The city took note, and they quickly took action.
I think John's point is you want to whip up your allies.
Yeah.
You don't want to whip up the other side.
Right. So.
But I like that. It would behoove us, I think, to
have people post on Nextdoor.
And it'll just put your events on next door too, and
Yeah.
that's another thing.
Right.
That's a good idea.
Good point, yeah.
Yeah, because, you know, you're in Coronado, you guys both Coronado.
Well, we do, yeah, the message board, which is a Facebook thing, so we get some kind of within our neighborhood, and, but next door, I think is a good
And
area.
I'm further north, now north, which is going to be News neighborhood unless you live there.
Are you on next door?
Yeah. But yeah, that's good. I mostly ignore because it's usually people complaining about stray cats and sketchy looking people, but sometimes if you go, when you go dig through there, there's usually some good stuff in there too.
That's a good point.
Yeah, a lot of chat. Anything else for the good of the order here before we shut it down? We're, as usual, running long, but.
Okay. Thanks for
Okay.
coming, everybody.
Yeah. So, again, I'll throw something out on Slack regarding who wants to get involved in bicycle benefits and event planning, so we can get the Coronado ride planned soon. Bicycle benefits, if we have to do one or the other first, obviously, we'll talk about the Coronado ride. I'm
Need
gonna
a theme for bike pump.
theme, yeah, okay, we'll put that on, we need to do that soon.
Burning place?
We'll decide that in subcommittee.
Yeah.
We're not gonna hash that out right now.
Laura, I'll contact you about working out shifts and sign up Genius and all that. I'll probably do that on Slack. It seems to work out really well.
Then we need to follow up with Lisa and see if postcards were ordered. I thought they were, but maybe they weren't. And then follow up with Joe regarding T-shirts with 11th Monkey. I'll email the sergeant that runs the bicycle registration and see what's going on with that.
I'll pull up the 3rd and 5th Ave material for Wednesday.
Okay. And then I think we need to, this might be another subcommittee opportunity to really look through the changing gears thing and come up with a PSP stance opinion and
Yeah,
kind of.
I don't have a lot of time to work some during the day. So, yeah.
Yeah, that way we can kind of give us a read through it and share some ideas on Slack, and like before, we've done letters where we draft it and we go through it, and then as we get closer to something, then sit down and meet and talk about it. But I think that's something we should do.
Are you talking about the bicycle master plan?
Well, there's the changing gears, which is kind of a more of an informal 5-year
plan.
shifting gears. What is
Shifting
it?
gears.
Changing.
I'd be willing to participate in that subcommittee.
Okay.
Maybe there'd be a lot of value in, because that's a big deal, right? And it's a regional thing, it's not just 3rd and 5th.
Right.
It's a bigger picture. Maybe there's value in some groups coming together and writing a big joint letter, you know.
Right, maybe get together with you guys.
PSP,
And,
UPP, Down Tempo, Velo, Rusty Spoke, whoever, like little bike focused groups want to come up with this big joint letter and say, we need better. Right?
But you got to give them a place to go. You can just say we need better, and they're like, oh, you're right.
Sure,
Nothing
yeah.
happened. You got to give them
figure all that out,
a
but at
place
the
to
same
go.
point, You don't want to be put in a position of redesigning it for them to what they do even in a lot of zoning cases. But
we knew that under the umbrella of my group, the All Powerful Arizona Bicycle Lobby.
and maybe maybe some umbrella group.
Yeah, 'cause if you're not on that, I do have a Facebook group. So yeah, that's a good idea.
We got to get registered as a lobbyist and call that a day.
That's something that
We
the
cannot lobby.
Mike's guy said too, is get diverse groups signing on with the same message.
Yeah.
Kind of
Yeah.
So downtown Phoenix Inc. and the different neighborhoods and
Yeah.
PSP and Urban Phoenix Project.
Jason DeVello, I think, would be a good one for that too. So we get some.
One group they can brush away, a coalition scares them.
Yeah.
Oh, I see, yes.
Oh, yeah.
All right.
All right.
Thank you, everyone.
All right, thanks.
Thanks, everybody. Cut the feed. Cut the feed.
Come on off the record.
3rd and 5th Ave channel to discuss things with that next few days.